Welcome, sentient beings from all known universes and beyond. It's time to activate your cranial downlinks and prepare to receive a raft of discussion on a cosmic ocean of science fiction and fantasy topics, interviews with local area genre devotees, and insightful prognostication by our soothsayers of science fiction, our forecasters of fantasy, and any other beings that happen to get caught in our gravity well. This is the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
And welcome to the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. I'm Bill.
I'm Audie.
I'm Jenna.
Charles.
And today we're missing John and Seth. We are recording this, I guess not filming it, but we're recording it live at OCon. Yep. And John and Seth, who are normally on the podcast, are conducting a panel right now on is the Orville the next, or the Star Trek next generation of the current millennium. So,
Hashtag nerd cred.
Yeah. So that'll be a nice panel for them. Hopefully Seth is video recording that so we can feature a little clip of that on our next show. Mm-hmm. And Seth was like, wait a minute, this is technology. How do I do this?
That is not a normal Seth thing, because
No.
Seth is normally our technology guru. So I am slightly disappointed in him.
Yes, and first I tried to show it to John, and John's like, don't show me that. That Seth's going to do that. Yeah. And then Seth's like, I'm what? What's a camera?
Well, we all gotten used to you taking care of things.
Yes, right.
You are very good at it, Bill.
Between you and Seth, we've got it nailed.
I'm kind of anal when it comes to stuff like that. So that's
You're kind of what?
yes.
A little.
Yes.
Are there children in the audience? There's one that's too small to know what I just said.
Excellent.
So I think we're okay.
There are no
Well,
incriminating
it is
audio
true. If you
yet.
watch our podcast, if you look closely, he's made special wood inlays on the table and
Yes. Spared
So-
no expense.
spared no expense.
So, yes, let's just get it out of the way. For those of you who are here at OCon and happen to go back and see this and read my name, Jenna Valdez,
Yes.
that thump was my guns coming on to the table as I am Laura Croft. Sir, how do you
She's
spell
going to
my
kill
name?
me.
How do you spell?
VALADEZ.
An A for each dimple. Yes.
Oh, that's
You're
a
not-
good way to remember it.
Don't forget it. Or else next time there will be consequences.
Right.
Thank you.
You get one miss. Maybe.
That is all.
Maybe. One miss if you're apologetic. If you show no remorse, you're dead
If
immediately.
you show no remorse, I show no remorse.
And we've been in the vendor room. Well, Jenna hasn't been in the vendor room yet, but I've been in the vendor room, and there are a lot of sharp, pointy metal things there. And
So we've been trying to interfere and get in her way before she gets
keeping her out of that room because I don't want to lose my head or any other appendages.
I'm not going to lie, it's a difficult choice because he is so good with our video and audio, and if we lose him, there's no point. But my name.
Yes, VALADEZ.
Excellent. I think the point has been made.
Yes.
Let us move on.
Okay. Now, speaking of sharp, pointy things, Audie picked up a sharp, pointy thing yesterday.
Yes, I did.
And why don't you tell us about that?
I keep forgetting his name. The Ranger
Boromir?
in,
Yeah, the raid.
No?
in
unnamed
Lord of the
guy.
Rings?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings Ranger.
No, Viggo Mortensen's character.
Yeah.
His character.
God, I'm having a blank moment.
Yeah, we're
God.
good at this.
Anyone?
Oh, shit. It's because
Aragon.
Aragon, yes.
Now, what's funny about
Gold
that?
Star.
Thank you.
Thank
What
you,
is
Gina.
funny about that is that just happened in the sword room with about 6 of us,
Trying
like
to
an
remember
hour or
it.
two ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
it took
So
us all quite a while.
Boromir's sword.
Well, yeah, I picked it up. It just fit my hand so right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm walking out of here with this thing.
Did you feel a halo? Did like the
I've
angel
al-
sing?
No, they always do for me.
Excellent.
Right before he lops someone's head off.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's an orc,
He's on a
because
holy-
they're not people, it's fine.
Yeah, he's on a holy quest.
I'm a holy what?
Yeah. So, OCon, we're here at OCon.
Yeah.
Now, Jenna has not yet been to the vendor room, but she did just come from a panel.
I did.
Tell us about that.
So, had just went to a great panel about from Team Human, and what they do is cosplay for charity events to inspire kids to read, to just feel good about life, and to meet their favorite characters. They go here to Omaha to places like the Lydia House, which is for individuals who unfortunately need a second chance and a place to stay because maybe they're in a bad situation, and they go with their kids. It's generally known as a woman's shelter, but they generally go with their kids as a safe space, trying to get out of a bad situation. But they've also done a lot of children's hospital events. We're hoping to do a podcast with them at some point, because I think we've mentioned the podcast before, just how rich Omaha is with cosplay. And they're definitely a standard for that, because what they're doing is they are taking cosplay and going to the community to make people's lives better. Not just people, but kids. And I think that's incredibly kind and amazing.
Yeah, and I think it helps the kids, too, that are in a bad situation. It kind of gives them
An out.
a win for the day,
Yeah.
a high point of the day. And I know Linda and I have done some charity things like that in the past. We were ham radio operators, and so we would, every December, we would go to the area hospitals and use ham radio technology, what we called the North Pole Net. And we would let these kids that are in critical condition, a lot of times in these hospitals or in recovery wards and things like that, they could use the radios to talk to Santa Claus. And we would have Santa Claus on the TV, closed-circuit TV, but he would be at his house, and we would be using a thing called amateur television to send the signal to the hospitals. They would pump it into their closed-circuit television system, and then they would change the channel in the kids' room, and they could see Santa Claus talking to them. And the greatest thing of all is when we would have technical difficulties with the TV channel, because it would be kind of snowy and going in and out, and we'd say, oh yeah, big storms at the North Pole. And the kids would like, oh yeah. And then we would use our radios, and they would talk on the radio to Santa, and then Santa would answer them on the TV. And, you know, we would come back year after year, and you would hear from these hospital staff about how you were there, and that was all the kids talked about for the next month, was the fact that they talked to Santa Claus. So it does make a big difference in their lives,
does.
you know, especially when they're going through a lot of these surgeries, you know, and it's just wears on you and breaks you down. And so having a little something to look forward to like that is really good.
I remember when Children's Hospital was being developed, because I was a freshman, sophomore in high school at the time. And every floor of Children's Hospital, they took art from a school for a theme on every floor.
Wow.
Whether it be like birds or kites or something. And Scott Catholic was chosen for kites and sky. And we got to contribute art towards that, and it was amazing. And that's how I got introduced to their art cart. So you get to go around and do artwork with kids, and it was a beautiful thing, but it's also a hard thing, which is why I also admire Team Human for doing it, because one of the panelists brought this up, and part was sometimes you meet kids who you're not sure if they're going to make it.
Yeah, right.
She was Belle at a kid's birthday party who had leukemia.
Oh, right.
And they had it early just for the fact that they weren't sure they were going to make it.
Right.
And that was one of the hardest things, too, that I saw, that you had to have emotional endurance, because you're providing some joy, you're providing a bright spot, and that you don't know how much longer they're going to make. They may never get better.
Right. Yeah. And that was the same thing we ran into in the hospital. You know, it's kind of heartbreaking when you go into these rooms and these kids are hooked up to tons of machinery, you know, just keeping them going. And but you got to go in upbeat. You can't let that get you down. You got to be smiley and
because it's about them.
Right.
It's about them, and
Right.
that's what they were great about this panel bringing up. It's not about you and the pictures you post with your kids showing your charity work. This is about them getting some joy, having an amazing experience, and, what you're doing that they'll remember for a lifetime. And maybe you inspire them to read more.
Absolutely.
You inspire them to use their imaginations.
Well, and the fun thing, I think, is a lot of these younger kids don't necessarily distinguish between a person wearing a costume and the actual character that they see on screen sometimes. So if young kids particularly, when you show up in costume as a certain superhero, they believe you are that superhero, and they'll come up and they'll go, oh, I love your latest movie, and we heard that in the Team Human panel we went to. And, they said, we always respond, I love my movie too, and high five them, which is hilarious. But, that's what you got to do.
So, anyone listening to this podcast, because it's obviously not going to come out for maybe 2 weeks.
Yep.
Keep an eye out. If you are liking what you're hearing about this group, Team Human, and they are applying for 501c, which is nonprofit status with the IRS, and look on Facebook because that's where they're at. Keep an eye out because they will be at a point where they can accept donations, or if you're interested in volunteering, check it out. So.
Yeah, because everything they do is volunteer, so they don't take any money for that.
No.
And I think it's nice that we've got that group. There's also the 501st and the Rebel Legion and the Mandalorian Mercs that are Star Wars affiliated groups that also do charity type work as well. And so we've got a bunch of different groups in Omaha, which is really nice. And I know the Omaha Public Schools. Every year, the past couple of years anyway, they have a back-to-school kickoff event that has been at Tech High the past couple of years, and they have everybody there. So 501st is there, and they bring Team Human there, and basically anybody that cosplays is invited to come. And then they have free giveaways for underprivileged kids that are going back to school. They give away backpacks and all kinds of stuff that'll help them in the coming school year. And it's a chance for them to come out and not only collect that stuff, but see all these superheroes, interact with them, and kind of get psyched about going back to school for the new year. So
That's one panel. What about the rest of you? Have you seen any other panels that have been really good so far?
I think...
I skipped your panel. All that charity stuff. Oh. Yeah. No, I just went to the... Undead Obsessed, which actually I had to sneak out early, so I didn't get a chance to look at the book. But it looked like she was selling a book.
So that was Undead Obsessed: My Journey to Discover Meaning in Zombies.
Now, and for what she was talking about, part of what she was part that interested me, there seemed like there was quite a bit of hydrology, and I'm a civil engineer, so I could see that book being a nice lead-in to shallow water versus deep wells, and which is worse if you end up with it contamination.
Right. You don't want a zombie in your well if you're using that well water to survive.
Unless you're trying to take out a competing community full of a-holes stealing your corn that you're growing to survive the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That's
Not that
true.
I would, but post-apocalypse, you do what you got to do.
Right. Right. It's every man or woman for him or herself. Yeah. All right. So
it was interesting.
It was
right?
informative.
Yeah. And I might actually circle around and get the book. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
which
is
will
that
be
person
bound to be better than the last book I bought.
Is that a series that she's writing, or is
I
it
don't
just...
know. I didn't.
Okay.
I kind of snuck in 2 minutes late and snuck out 10 minutes early.
So you could get to our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
I know.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then,
How about you, Audie? Have you gone to any panels or?
No, I just sat in on the what's her
Meredith.
name?
Meredith,
from,
Kate.
Oh yeah, Meredith from The Office.
Yeah, from
What's
The
her
Office.
name?
Kate Flannery.
Kate Flannery is
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
and
I got my
Charles got a
pic-
picture with her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because
Well, I just sort of followed Charles in, and we kind of bailed early because I got hungry.
Well, was her panel in? What was she talking
Yeah,
about?
Audie had a mighty need
Kind of a
Yeah.
Q&A thing, was it?
for con food.
It was,
It
yeah.
became, yes.
They talked about the show, and then audience members got to ask questions.
Ah.
And Charles should be talking about this because it was his,
Well, yeah, I don't
That's
know. It
basically. the
it was
only one I
fun.
got to
She,
go to.
it was a good panel.
It was a good
she
panel.
There was. She talked about auditioning and
Oh, yeah.
her time at Second City and then that kind of.
Now, is she doing anything currently, do you know? Or
I
is
have
she-
no idea.
Okay.
I would presume, but
Yeah.
I have.
You
All
could
right.
have asked.
I
if
could
we
have.
hadn't left early.
Yeah, Audie got hungry.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we can find it out on the internets.
Yeah. But no, I got my picture taken because I resemble some of her coworkers. So
That's awesome. Well, now, you've been out on the vendor floor, and Audie's been out. We know Audie bought a knife,
Sword.
sword, sorry.
There,
that's-
sir,
yeah, that's not a
there
knife
is a
word.
distinct difference.
Distinct
Well,
difference.
There's a 3-foot distinct difference.
last time he bought
That's
a
what
knife.
she said.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that?
I think last time he bought it, the last con we went to, he bought a knife.
Yeah, he seems to be following Jenna here.
Oh no,
getting with
I'm
the-
older. I've been doing it longer.
Sir, I have about 10 blades.
I had about 10 blades until they were stolen.
Son of a
Oh,
bitch.
no.
Yeah.
You were burgled?
Wait, did I just
I was
ruin the
burgled.
kids rating? Did I? Shit.
Well, wait a minute.
I mean,
So were you not home when you were burgled? Because if you were home, I assume you would have grabbed one of your many swords and...
Well, I was asking
Yes.
him that earlier if there was a stat out, because I do kind of want to look it out at how often somebody stops a home burglary with a sword.
Yeah.
or a knife, or a
Right.
gun.
Well,
Or
no,
a
no,
gun.
I don't. Yeah, the guns
I'm
happens
sure
occasionally.
it actually
Yeah.
does happen, but not recently.
Probably more if you're a ninja and you're at home.
Yeah.
And someone breaks in and tries to steal your sword, then, yeah, they're in trouble.
And Charles did ask me how handy was it. I says like 1 foot out of my bed and I've got a sword in my hand.
So,
Oh.
Yeah.
the Galactic Driftwood just had an amazing photo shoot. What was our photographer's name again?
What's that?
Our amazing photo shoot.
Yeah.
The
Oh, yeah, with Cassie.
Cassie. So, the thing is, I warned all these guys because we actually brought out all the lightsabers that everyone had, and it was a lot of money of lightsabers. And I just looked at all of our members, and I said, "You guys increased your renters or your home insurance to accommodate these lightsabers, right?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's probably a good point." It's that many lightsabers, folks.
Well, and
It's a college degree's worth of lightsabers. I
well,
think.
and John has quite a few too, and he often carries them around in his car. And
Why are you trying to get his car broke into?
well, nobody knows what his car looks like, and I'm not going to describe it. It's a yellow VW bus. No, it's not. But he called me one night. We were supposed to get together and do something, and he didn't show up. And I'm like, John, what the heck happened to you? And he's like, my car was stolen. What? Yeah, my car was stolen. And I said, were your lightsabers in it? No, I took him in the house last night. and I'm like, well, that was lucky. So I said, well, you should probably check your car insurance to see if those would be covered since you leave them in there so often. Because it seems like no matter where he goes, he's always able to pull a lightsaber out of his pocket.
This is true. I think he started the addiction. I haven't quite caught the bug yet. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I seem to think I'm immune to the bug.
it's a matter of time. 'cause you-
I like real shiny blades.
Yeah. But you do have a Rey cosplay now.
I do.
See?
So I'm like from the posters of the next Star Wars, her gear and her costume is going to be a really fun cosplay. So I'm holding out.
And who's that? Sorry.
Rey.
Oh, Rey.
In the next movie, like
Yeah,
from
yeah,
some of the
right,
initial
right.
posters, it looks pretty freaking awesome. So I'm holding out for that.
That'll be awesome. Now, Charles doesn't really have a cosplay. He does have a amazing monocle.
I did get a monocle. I was talking to a monocle at one point.
Right.
That seems to have done the trick.
Yeah. I think you need to flesh that out a little bit. And we were just talking, there's a Pirate Fest coming up, right?
Yep, Bellevue Berry Farm. If you all haven't heard it, it's a great family/event to patron. There's lots of drinks. There's lots of entertainment. It's outdoors. It's really a lot of fun. So if you're local or if you're within even 100 to 200 mile radius, it's worth coming into Bellevue to see this wonderful event. It's pirating. If you're not sure what a pirate fest is, imagine a Ren Fair, but with a lot of shenanigans, even more shenanigans than
More
you would
pillaging
normally
and plundering.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, nothing wrong with that. And cutlasses, I assume.
All
pointy
the
things.
sharp and shiny things.
Yeah.
And well, there used to be mead, and unfortunately, Moonstruck Meadery does not exist anymore. But there'll be plenty of rum in the Pirates Bay or Cove. I forget what they call it, but that's where I'll be.
Nice. And when's that?
That is going to be in August, I believe. I'm looking up because I don't want to be wrong
Right.
and
We don't wanna
then
give
get
people
all
wrong
get all the
information.
negative comments.
That's right.
And whatever you do, don't misspell the name.
Oh God.
Right. Well, while
Midwest
she's
Pirate Fest.
While she's looking that up, we'll continue talking about Charles and his costume. So he's got the monocle. I think, Charles, you
I
need a
don't know.
pirate hat
I don't.
and just one of those black blousey shirts.
Sure, a blousey shirt. That's
Yeah,
just what
and
I
then any
needed.
pants you could wear with it.
Hey,
and
if it's
black
cotton and
shoes.
free flowy, it's going to help you be outside. So, August 24th and the following weekend, the Midwest Pirate Fest. Definitely check it out. It's a good time. It's a good time.
And
out by
Charles,
all.
listen, being a pirate with the pirate hat and the monocle would be a lot easier than being a painted blue head in a box.
That is, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So you're saying Charles can earn his way out of the box?
Yes, he could.
Excellent.
And
He's
so
been
now-
wanting to make me a blue head in the box since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
It's such a good shape. It's
It is.
such a good shape.
He does
head.
have the perfect head. So it's Dorian Maldivar was the character from Doctor Who that we want him to be, and Dorian Maldivar played this sort of borderline. You know, if you needed something, he would
Yeah.
acquire it,
Maniacal.
and you would pay an exorbitant rate, and it didn't matter if it was legal or illegal stuff. But he would get it for you, and so he did a lot of that. And but he got into trouble with the headless monks, and they beheaded him and stuck his head in a box. And but he did
I'm
have
sure
access.
it's perfectly reasonable why.
Yeah, but he did have access to Wi-Fi, which was nice, in the box as his head.
Hey.
So now, Audie, you're doing a cosplay today. Tell us about that.
I keep getting told I look like old Logan.
Yes, from
X-Men,
Wolverine.
Wolverine from X-Men.
Yeah.
I would say you look like a younger, old man Logan.
Yeah, not terribly
How dare
old.
they?
Right.
How dare they?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I got talked into buying my little
Stabbers,
stabbers,
the claws.
claws.
Wolverine
claws, yeah.
yeah,
Adamantium
claws.
claws.
That's what that metal is.
Yes, right.
I've been trying to remember that all day.
Adamantium.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as Wolverine ages, he gets forgetful.
Well, adamantium poisoned him.
Yes, that's right.
That's why he was aging.
Right. It brings on early Alzheimer's, I hear.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Now,
What are we talking about again?
yes. Now, those claws you got,
Yeah.
they're plastic claws.
Yeah.
But
They
they're
look pretty good.
they look good.
And they're sharp.
And they're brittle.
Yeah.
And so we were looking at him yesterday, and we were here with my nephew Jared.
Yeah.
And Jared puts the claws on, and he's being kind of funny, and he pokes me in the side with them. That hurt. I said, "Hey, what are you doing? That needs to be peace bonded." Yeah, that wouldn't have stopped him from
Shh,
stabbing
don't
me.
tell anyone. You ruin it.
I know. Well, they peace bonded his stabbers today, but it doesn't stop you from stabbing.
I will
someone.
say, OCon, your peace bonding policy is way better than Planet Comic Con.
In what way?
In that I get to have my guns out.
Ah.
For those, because this is not a video like we normally do. This is an audio podcast. I am Lara Croft again, a very muddy-er Lara Croft, and I have my pistols. And when we were at Planet Comic Con, they forced me to peace bond my guns to my holsters, which takes the fun out of it. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
people want to hold the guns. I want to pose with the guns, and it was a sad, sad day.
So I think here's the difference that I see between Planet Comic-Con and OCon when it comes to the peace bonding. So at Planet Comic-Con, which was down in Kansas City, it seemed to me that the purpose of the peace bonding was try to prevent you from using the weapons to make people think you had a real weapon or to cause any harm.
But here's the hypocrisy. There were vendors, once you got to the vendor room, selling all of those props that people would not have had peace bonded when they bought them walking around.
Right. Yep. Like, for example, a baseball bat wrapped in real barbed wire would see on The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
That was available for purchase, and you could just buy it and walk it out. But here, the peace bonding seems more to say this particular weapon has been looked at and deemed safe.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can have it out. Whereas the other one was more restrictive. Oh, yeah, you've got something that looks like a gun. We don't want you to pull it out and make people think it's a gun.
I didn't have to peace bond my sword.
Yeah, but
I
you
carried
couldn't
it out
take
of here in a box.
It was in a box, right? You couldn't bring it out in the box.
No, I could not have it on.
And that's where, what is terrorism? Terrorism is making people change their lives because you've instilled a state of fear. We want to be safe, and we totally understand where Planet Comic-Con is coming from because it's such a large event. But also, are we letting them win? Yeah, are we letting the paranoia win by going too far? Because like you and Seth, you had to peace bond your lightsabers.
Yeah.
Obviously, you are not going to be using them for mass killings.
Yeah.
Right. Because, let's face it, most of the younglings have already been taken out by Anakin. Right? Right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I feel a migraine.
And, yeah. So, I mean, at this point, you know, I think the
and
adults...
Bill was very saddened by that.
Yeah.
Yes. That's all I'll say about that.
That's all I gotta say about
Now,
that.
what are you guys looking forward to later today? Let's see. So our podcast here is going to be finished up by about around 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And at 3 o'clock, they're running Klingon Jeopardy in the Kent room. Klingon Jeopardy. You know, if you're in Jeopardy with Klingons, you're dead.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
You got the answer right, but you have threatened my honor and goodbye.
Yeah. And that's one thing I haven't seen on the show floor is Batless. Unless you saw any.
No, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any Klingons.
No. But there is a Klingon table over by where they're doing the wrestling stuff, the wrestling table. Right behind that is a big booth with Klingon stuff, and they've got Klingon banners and everything, and so you can check that out.
And see if there's any batleths over there.
There might be.
Yep.
The one cool thing I did see that you guys might be interested in, we have any fans of barbecuing in the audience?
Of people or food things? Or
I
food
would
things
say
that are not people?
People that are fans of barbecuing food items.
Excellent. But not
Yes.
people.
Because on the vendor floor, there is somebody that is selling a TIE fighter that is a barbecue grill. Did you see that? Yeah.
Are you going for it, Chris?
Because
we have an audience member who looks semi-excited by that.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah. And we have a friend of ours, Bill Hedges, who we interviewed for our podcast a couple sessions ago. He's sitting in the audience. That seems like something, Bill, you would build, a spaceship that's also a barbecue. I mean, you've got some amazing things at your place. So, yeah, I looked at that and I thought, I could see Bill Hedges building this. So.
But Bill can build anything, and
Yeah.
yes.
He's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. The swords are cool. What else have I seen that's cool?
Or what's coming up that's exciting? Obviously, the cosplay contest, because
that's right.
in this area, there are some amazing talent when it comes to cosplay.
And there's a podcast following ours, CF3 podcast. They're going to be talking about Ghostbusters from 1984. I like that movie.
That's a staple, sir.
Now listen, the first day, the convention opened Friday. I'm walking around the floor, I mean, literally nobody had sold anything yet. And I walk into a booth, and they've got, looks like about a 10 or 12-inch metal model of the Ghostbusters car.
Oh.
All decked out, everything.
Yeah.
And the guy wanted $70 for it.
Did you buy it?
He got
I did
it.
not buy it.
Somebody did.
I did not buy it. I thought, I'm going to have to think about that. It's kind of tempting. And then an
Linda-
hour later, I went
Linda said
back and
no.
it was gone.
Yeah.
It was gone.
Bill thinking means he's trying to convince Linda it'll be okay, and Linda says no
Right.
and sticks to her no.
Right. She sticks to her guns. She's got a rule now. Nothing new comes in that something old doesn't leave.
Ah, that's
And-
a fair point.
And
That's
I
a
said,
fair
Linda
point.
is old. No. Not that
So
old.
if you
I
never
mean,
hear from Bill on our podcast again, we know nothing. Linda was not involved, and she has a beautiful apartment in the islands.
So, yeah, and I didn't mean physically old. I just meant old to me. We've been together a long time.
That's not helping, Bill.
No.
No, it's not helping at all.
Yeah, so now I've got two women looking for my head.
Yes.
Let's see. So what else is going on today? At 4 o'clock, we have the return of the incredibly intimate offline live Tubecast Comic-Con panel, in-person local live show, live remastered again. That's an awful long title. John was complaining about the title for our panel that we're doing tomorrow that was saying it was too long. So tomorrow we're doing a panel at noon in the Danvers room on Stranger Things. We have any Stranger Things fans?
Yeah. Hey.
Well, you'll have to come to the panel. We're going to be talking about some of the unanswered questions from season 2.
We are asking for audience engagement.
Yeah, and some theories we might have on season 3, what we expect we might see. So our panel name is Dungeons, Demogorgons, and 11 Oh My. And
I'm glad you got it
John-
right since you're the one who named the panel.
No, Seth. Seth named it.
the panel? Are you sure?
I'm positive. Well, I actually might have come up with that, and
Yeah,
then Seth
but it was
agreed.
a good one, and we
Yeah, that's
agreed.
right. But John gave me hell over the length of the panel name. I should show him this one and say, hey.
John gives you hell about everything.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
So let's be honest.
He's very critical.
He's a cranky panda.
He is.
I'll say it.
He's a cranky host. So we got that. Let's see what else is coming up. So the cosplay green room starts at 4:30. There's a Sexy Nerd Science podcast, which I might have to take in, that happens at 5 o'clock. And then the cosplay contest itself starts at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Now, I've seen some incredible cosplays today. There was a guy in a winged hawk suit.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible. Jenna.
Did his wings work? I haven't seen him like up close. They extend. Oh,
Really?
oh, they do extend.
Wow.
That's neat.
That's
There's
very
a
impressive.
young woman running around here in a bluish,
Yeah.
similar wings flowing
Oh,
out
really?
behind her. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
With real feathers.
Jenna
Ooh.
saved our podcast booth from an attack from some giant evil creature earlier.
Oh.
Fortunately, she was in her Laura Croft cosplay, and it backed off when it saw her big
Yeah.
guns. So,
Indeed.
yes.
Just,
That was good.
Just another day's work.
So we'll have to definitely video some of the cosplay contest, and so we can feature that, few clips of that on the show, some of the finer cosplays. And then, so tomorrow's our panel. Anything else tomorrow that you guys are looking forward to, or?
I'm going to say I'm pretty sad because Steve Whitmore, who's been a part of the Jim Henson Company for decades, his Q&A is during our podcast.
Oh.
I really wanted to
You mean
see
during
it.
our panel?
Yeah, sorry, our panel.
Yeah.
Which will turn into a podcast, but same difference.
Right.
I mean,
Panel cast, we'll call
I
it.
know. He seems, by the amount of time he's allowing for photo ops, he seems pretty low-key and shy. Because if you look at his photo op times, they're like 15, 30 minutes, tops. Which, you never know someone's experience when they've been a part of Hollywood and filmed this long. Like, they get probably tired. They get tired of these things. But I think for most of us who grew up with the Labyrinth, who loved the Muppets, who loved the Dark Crystal, like someone like that, you just want to say thank you for igniting my imagination, and
Right.
so I'm hoping I can catch him at some other time at some point.
Yeah. Now, I got a funny story to tell you. So Jenna's dressed as Laura Croft, and we're walking to a panel, and she sees a guy dressed as what is it, adventurer like
Larry Croft.
Larry Croft, right? And so, but this guy's got the outfit, but it's pristine, not a speck of dirt on him. And what did you say? Something
I said,
about his cred.
I don't trust your adventuring. You're way too clean.
Just cut him right to the quick. Just kind of slinks
As
away.
he's getting his picture taken.
Yeah.
Because I can.
Yes, that was awesome. That was perfect.
But, and then he admitted, he's like, I'm way too pretty to get dirty. And I said, that's fine.
Yeah, as long as you're good with that.
As long as we know who's got the bigger balls. I do.
There you go.
I do.
That's right.
Then we're good.
Yeah. So, Charles, now, are you going to be here? You're going to be here tomorrow for the panel.
For the panel.
Right?
And then I don't know.
Yeah, no, Audie's busy. But
I'm busy, yeah.
Audie can't make the panel. You got a family reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
So if we don't see you and you're in a... never mind.
Yeah.
In an altered state for several days to recover,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll know. We'll understand. All right.
we'll let it pass.
Yeah. So Charles will be here tomorrow. And tomorrow's the last day. So if you're going to come see something, you got to get down here. Of course, people listening to this, it's too late to get down here by the time you hear it.
Yeah.
But you can plan for next year.
Exactly.
Now, are there any other cons you're looking forward to? I mean, we talked about the Pirate Fest.
Yes, as our final question, I am most definitely looking forward to Pirate Fest here in the immediate area because it's a great way to just have fun, to be around people who enjoy cutting loose and enjoying the fantasy. The family who owns the Bellevue Berry Farm, they're amazing people, they're good people, and you just want to support local businesses because they're not just a place to have events like weddings and Pirate Fest and the Ren Fair. They're a place to go pick berries, to go pick goods, and just be outside with your family.
And that's great fun to go there in the fall, too, around September, October.
Yeah, they do the whole Ranch of Terror, which is actually one of the best haunted houses I've been to, and I've seen haunted houses between here and Texas. So, and it's not disappointing whatsoever.
Nice. Let's see. I've got one. We're end of July. We're going to a Star Trek convention in Las Vegas that I'm really looking forward to.
Ooh.
A lot of big Star Trek names are going to be at that one, so that'll be fun. I've gone to some smaller ones in the local area, so this will be my first
If you
major
can see a
one.
George Takei podcast,
Yeah.
he is really funny. He was at my first Planet Comic-Con event, and he was just a joy.
Nice. Well, I'll look for it. I think he's supposed to be there. There's just so many people from the show that are going to be there, characters that have been in there that I'm really looking forward to that.
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. No, I don't think Patrick, but Shatner's going to be there.
What?
Shatner will be there.
Okay, but we saw Shatner. Are you going to see
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart?
I don't think he's going to be there. It wasn't on the list last time I looked, which is kind of
He's too
sad.
busy filming his next show.
He might be.
Yeah.
The
Picard.
Star Trek Picard series is filming.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. So there's that. And then something else that I'm looking forward to is, so last night after OCon ended, a bunch of us went out to eat at the Monster Club. You ever heard of the Monster Club?
I still need to go there.
It's down in Omaha's Old Market, and it's a horror-themed restaurant/pub. And so we went down there. They have, the hamburgers are to die for. And I consider myself a hamburger
Are you sure
connoisseur.
people are not literally dying from the hamburgers
No,
and
I'm
being
not sure.
reincorporated
I'm
into
not sure.
them?
It tasted so good. It could be.
He didn't care.
What do
It's
they
fine.
call
He
it?
just
The
didn't care. It could
Hamburgers
be
are
human,
the
but it was
previous
tasty.
customers.
Yes, maybe. But they're really good. Actually, it's a combination of like ground chuck, brisket, and short rib. And they mix it together into a burger, and it is sublime. Seriously. So anyway, So we went there, but we talked to them. We said we were talking about how that would be a great venue for a future podcast. And they said we would love to have you guys come down and record a podcast.
Yes.
So we're going to do that. Probably it'll be, we'll record it in late August, and then it'll air in September. So we'll be getting right into the fall Halloween season. So that should be really fun.
Now, Charles, Audie, what are you guys looking forward to next in your nerd calendar?
You first.
Yeah,
Charlie.
Audie.
Audie, go.
I'm looking forward to TeslaCon.
Oh,
November.
yes, in November, TeslaCon. And this year it's going to be the Orient Express, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And that's where?
That is in Madison, Wisconsin.
Or very close to Madison.
Yes, and it's in a suburb of Madison.
Yeah.
And this will be like their 10th year, I think, doing this, TeslaCon 10.
It'll be my second year for it.
Yeah, but every year they have a theme, and the nice thing about it is it's a totally immersive event. So when you go to the hotel, they have sound system throughout the hotel where they're playing, maybe it's like the Battle of Britain, and you'll hear air raid sirens going.
This is a
and planes.
steampunk event, by the way.
Yeah, steampunk. It's all steampunk, and so it's totally immersive. So this year it'll be Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
So there will be a murder. So each con kind of takes up where the last con left off in this series of stories that the con originator is painting or writing us through.
Yeah.
And so he said that this time there will be a main character that we've kind of grown to know and love that is going to be offed on the Orient Express. So it could be a traumatic event. So bring your Kleenex box, Audie.
Oh, at least it won't be me.
Yeah. Now, are you going to be in Western attire, or are you going to be like a
We'll see.
train engineer, or you're just kind of figuring
see.
it out as you go?
Figure it out.
All right.
If you're going to be a train engineer, I'm going to check you for authenticity.
Authenticity.
There we go. That's the word.
So you want to see like a coal soot on
Exactly.
his outfit, on his head, right?
An engineer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I was picturing
Steam.
conductor.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
conductor. I mean,
Well, you could be a conductor too.
I can be
but
a conductor.
Yeah.
They dress
So.
sharper than the engineer.
Right.
And I'm vain. I want to be the conductor.
So that'll be fun.
so
Yep.
just because I know, the difference is the engineer drives the train, but the conductor is the lead of the train with
Right.
the plan and the
Yeah.
thing. So what do you want to be? Do you want to drive it, or do you want
be
to
the
be the
boss?
boss? You'd be surprised who gets paid more, but so that's the trick.
Right.
You could be driving one of these newfangled clean coal trains.
Oh, yeah.
Newfangled what? I didn't
Clean coal train.
Clean coal train.
Yeah, you don't get coal dust from clean coal.
Absolutely.
No, I'm sure you
There's
don't.
no black lung
No.
coal
Yeah.
trains.
Not at all.
No.
Oh, very good, Charles. You
Now
should
your
make
turn.
that suggestion.
What's that?
What are you going to do next?
I've been waiting
Nerd
for
calendar.
Bill to tell me.
For your nerd calendar, what you're looking forward to next
honestly,
week?
Usually I kinda just
I'm responsible
coattail.
for filling out Charles's nerd calendar.
Bill is
Charles-
this black hole of
Activity.
activities
Yeah.
that Charles
Suck
and
you
I
in.
got
We just
sucked
kind of
into,
glean,
Yeah.
occasionally.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think I kind of run by you guys. I'm kind of like a crazed weasel. So
Yeah.
when it comes to sci-fi and fantasy and cons, and I dash by these guys at warp speed, and they get sucked into my wake and just kind of
Yep.
pulled along.
That is
Yep.
how that goes
Yeah.
down, it
Yep.
seems.
That'd be a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Because neither one of us, I think, remembered even signing up for this.
yeah,
We did.
That's right. You did. Yeah.
I feel
yeah.
my migraine getting worse.
That is hilarious. Yeah, we're talking last night to Audie, or a couple weeks ago to Audie, and we're like, so what time are you going to be at OCon? What's
What?
that?
Yeah. Tell
And
me
he-
where I'm going and what time to be
Yeah,
there.
and he had a 3-day pass already. Of course, it was in my,
Is it a
on my
formal
fridge.
affair?
but-
Yeah. Huh?
Is it a formal affair? That was the next question.
Yeah,
always.
is it a formal affair?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, yeah, I'm sure Charles will be getting you up to speed, populating your calendar as we head into the summer and fall season. There'll be a lot of exciting things going on.
Yeah.
Well, I think at this point, I'm kind of chomping to get back out to the
I absolutely am too. And we know we're going to have video from the awesome panel that Seth and John are giving right now.
Yep, they're recording that. Hopefully Seth is doing a good job of recording it.
Which I did want to point out.
Yeah.
Why the Orville is the Star Trek of the New Millennium is a fairly long title.
That's true.
Yes.
That is a good point.
Because John's never said anything hypocritical. Shots fired.
All right, the first volley has been cast.
Yep.
Doop-de-doo.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, so shall we wrap it up here? And,
Absolutely.
Well, we did
I'm
our
Jenna.
final quest, though. I'm Audie.
Charles?
And I'm Bill. And
This is the Galactic Driftwood podcast. Check us out on YouTube,
Stitcher, iTunes,
All the
Google
fun
Play, podcast.com. You know, I can
And
go on.
all that
and on.
other stuff that Sean always repeats.
Yes, right. Or
we're pretty loose with the platforms. We like any and all, so
Yes,
we're
or-
probably there.
Or you can go to our website, galacticdriftwood.space.
Ooh.
Paid extra for that. Well, they wanted us to, but we didn't.
Because of all the life you lost, like getting them to fix
Yes.
our problems.
Right. They do have issues sometimes. So,
Technology. We love living in the future, but then it doesn't work, and we're like, son of a bitch.
Yes. So, all right, folks. Well, thank you all for watching, and we'll hope you
Or listening.
tune in.
This
Listen.
time.
Well, they'll be watching because we'll put this on YouTube, and we'll just put a static one of our promo photos.
Oh.
We may put many of our promo photos up and just
Hey,
switch
just
them out.
stroll it out.
Right.
But we
drag it
love
out.
you, and we love Omaha, and Omaha is all, and Council Bluffs. Thank you so much for
Hosting us.
doing an amazing con again, because
Yeah.
it's always good to get with our fellow nerds.
And thank you especially for the free Wi-Fi. We love
And
that.
the Project Nerd for putting together
Yes.
this pavilion.
Thanks to
Project
Project
Nerd,
Nerd.
you all are awesome.
Yes, we love you guys. All right. Toodles, everybody. See you next time.
Hey.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood podcast. For more information and past episodes, please visit our website at galacticdriftwood.space or subscribe to us on YouTube. And now, please deactivate your cranial downlinks, collect your towels, and be sure to watch your step as you exit our gravity well.